And we are live. We are live.
That's cool.
As I said, there are bits that made me laugh.
No, Nick, you start with your question. That's the question to start this episode with. What did you ask?
Oh, yeah, I jumped the gun. I'm sorry.
No, Chris, it's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. It'll be funny.
I'm trying. I woke up from a nap.
No.
I haven't had a nap in, like, I can't remember when.
Oh, my God.
I used to take naps all the time. I love naps.
Mm-hmm.
But I just woke up from that. Anyway, Nick, go ahead.
I was going to say, the question I asked right before was, did we find any humor in Adam Sandler's performance?
Well, no, you would ask, is Adam Sandler funny?
Yeah, you asked that.
Yes. Is Adam
That's
Sandler
a much
funny?
different. That's a much different question.
Chris, you just like to correct people, but I gotta tell you,
that was not me. That was Ian. Nick, you're so ready to jump at my throat that you ignored the fact that it was Ian who corrected you.
Stop gaslighting me, Chris. I'm telling you.
Wow, Chris trying to gaslight us all.
Oh yeah. Nick the liar once again. Gaslighting's not even real. Nick, grow up.
So some of the jokes were funny. I thought
that's good. Yeah. Is Adam Sandler funny? Yeah, that was the question.
Is Adam Sandler funny?
Ooh.
I think he can.
Well, I laughed at this movie. Yeah. I like that none of us want to have a hard no, a hard yes on this.
It's because he is, but also I recognize that, like, I mean, it's too late for it's too late for me. It's too late for Ian's really the target audience, and I guess me to some extent. But like, we're watching this 21 years after.
Yeah,
the movie came out.
Yeah,
so,
and there's a fair amount that aged surprisingly bad.
Yeah, and to the point where it's like it doesn't even register as a joke, but you're like, oh, I guess that's supposed to be a joke.
The barf when she got barfed on because she's so fucking gross.
No, that was funny. No, Ian, that was funny.
Okay, that's pretty great. No, that was amazing.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Well, Nick said the line right after he went, all right, villain established. Adam Sandler's the psychopath who trains sea animals to harass people who just make him feel uncomfortable.
Adam Sandler is playing like a mischievous lost boy kind of character, except he's an adult man, and so he is just like a crazy person.
Well, this is the man-child era of Adam Sandler, right?
This is true. This
is where the stereotype comes from.
The opening bit of this movie, I was kind of taken off guard just because I actually liked it, and it felt like so disarmingly childlike, like his horrible lie about being a secret agent, and then
that bit,
just jumping onto a jet ski that happened to be like, 'cause there's something about that exchange that felt like that is how a child lies. That is the terrible lie of a child, which worked on me. I was like, okay. But
but it's also like, so all these women fell for it.
Yes, all of these women have been a weird long list of women, including a morgue technician, have fallen for this. Yes. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's funny.
Which we're Well, okay, we're gonna get into it. I have questions.
Sure.
This is welcome to the first episode of 2025's theme of romantic comedy, a genre none of us are actually that well familiar with, because it never hit us and never did anything for us, and we never bothered.
Nope.
With a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna go. We're tackling it once every month, same as the Fast and Furious, every 15th of the month. Sorry, just woke up. First episode, 50 First Date. So we just watched.
In 2004. Wow.
what did you all know before going into this movie? As we get into the rising action, Ian, would you like to go first?
Sure. I'll just say, I mean, I'd seen this movie when it came out.
Okay.
I was a part of the demo. It was my mother's favorite romantic comedy for a very long time. I don't know about at present, but it was a movie that I do remember for at least well into high school, her still talking about how much she loved Drew Barrymore in this movie. Which, yeah, I mean, Drew Barrymore is a grounded, relatable character, and we can talk about that. But
yeah, very charming.
So, I mean, yeah, it was a movie that was playing a lot when I was a kid. I don't think I've seen it since I was like in high school, though. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nick, what did you know about the movie before going in?
I mean, I have watched it before, but I think it was like so long that I only knew the only things I remember was the ending and the general sort of inspiration for the film. I think.
Okay. As for me, what I knew beforehand, not much. I actually don't know if I've seen this movie before. I'm gonna say no,
Really?
because effectively, like, I don't remember anything.
Oh.
There's a chance I did, but I mean, like, this is 21 years ago now. So, yeah, I don't remember. If I watched it, it doesn't matter because I don't remember anything for it. And that's how memory works, people. Yeah, you did the thing, but does it matter if you don't remember?
It doesn't count anymore,
No.
I think. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Doesn't. Anyway, something to think about.
Your Honor,
but the only other thing I knew about it was that Cracked article that did it was like messed up or like secretly terrible or and like endings with horrible implications.
Yes.
And it was 51st dates.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, she has to go on the boat. The real shit is the pregnancy. And what must that must have been like for what would it be? 9 months, 180 days.
Yeah.
Of hell. About more or less.
Well,
but yeah, that's more or less what I knew. I didn't know much. So other than Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore's in this, I don't know why I didn't think I wouldn't see like Rob Schneider or those other dudes who always appear in Adam Sandler movies.
The gang's all here. Well, not all, but many. Many of them.
The vast majority of them are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always felt like this was separate, but I guess that's just my understanding. Because yeah, people really do like this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because we got a lot of people in our own lives telling us, yeah, this is definitely one you should put on here, and they're gonna be so mad. My camera went out of focus.
Well, okay, wait. Where do we want to start with taking this movie apart and dissecting? Like, do we want to talk about what worked best, what didn't work, what was funniest, what was?
To me, there's three parts, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Before Drew Barrymore, meet Drew Barrymore, and then the ending.
Okay.
To this movie. So let's get into the climax, where we talk about the contents of the film, which is, how do we all feel about the beginning? Because I texted Ian immediately after or while watching this movie with my thoughts.
I think overall, I more just like it's okay. I think as an overall experience, it's okay. I think what kind of saved it really was the more serious parts of it.
Yeah, weirdly enough.
Yeah, the comedy, I don't know, it really was more misses than hits, but
I mean, yeah, the vast majority of it doesn't work for me for comedy wise. There are bits I like. But yeah, for the beginning, dude, I didn't. All right, I'm with Ian. I like that. All these women talking, and it's just some dude giving the worst lie you've ever heard.
Literally the worst lie ever. A child's lie.
Lie. But after that, dude, I think that movie's like really fucking rough up until You Meet Drew Barrymore.
The scene with Rob Schneider and the scene with, I've got the actress's name here. 1 second. Lusta Strauss.
Okay.
Who plays Alexa.
Yeah.
A lot of those lines do not. A lot of those scenes don't super work for me. The Rob Schneider is a stoned, like, father of 5 who just has
Who hates his
children.
wife.
Hates his wife. Constantly is giving you classic "my ugly bitch wife" jokes, and also says and basically throughout the film, his kind of arc is increasingly wanting to voyeuristically enjoy Adam Sandler's sex life.
Yeah.
While his children are there.
Yeah.
It's a wild. Yeah, it's a wild. It reads as more uncomfortable for me. That a lot of his scenes, I just was like,
so I feel like I feel like there's always like children in Adam Sandler movies.
Yes.
As if like, look, kids find this funny, and isn't it super funny that kids find this funny?
Right.
Yeah. That's fun. There's almost like a familial or like parental thing, right? Where like in a family, someone says something crazy and then the kids laugh, and that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about that stuff. That doesn't work at all for most of the time for me, unless it's something really like crazy. Like I'm thinking of like Iron Man 2. I think the bits with the kid are pretty funny. But I think that's kind of earned. I think that's kind of earned because the kid's going through shit and he's going through shit.
Yeah.
It's that. I think, dude, in order to fix that character, again, height of hubris, right? But in order to fix that character, it's like, okay, get rid of the kids.
Yeah.
Get rid of the accent. You can still have him as a stoner. Yeah. Let's not have him pretend to be something he's not. And keep the voyeurism aspect.
You could keep Rob Schneider. Rob Schneider's Filipino. There's Filipinos in Hawaii, and he could be a Filipino.
I know, dude. It's like I don't even like most of Rob Schneider stuff. I don't even find funny, but I do think you can mine the comedy of like the voyeurism aspect, right?
There's a way to do that character that reads as Stinky from Hey Arnold and not like an actual villain.
Yeah,
like a menacing presence.
Like, he shouldn't be around children.
No. Oh God, no.
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 Yeah, and so it's like rough, really up until You Meet Drew Barrymore, and then the movie's interesting.
What do we think about the character Lucy Whitmore? What are your guys' take on just how she plays it, the character? What our general reception to her? I'll throw out really quick. I really loved when we started doing roadside scenes and we started getting different iterations of that. That was fun, and that felt like
I like those comedic bits, like more.
And it felt
the thing with the penguin's really good.
Yeah.
Probably it works because like it's so short and sweet, right? Like
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
truthfully, man. Well, what do you guys think of her character in the film, though? I think she's giving us like it's really weird because so many of the jokes, like we will allude to, are so silly and like dumb. She's giving you like a really grounded character in a very weird environment, if that makes sense. Like she's playing it straight throughout this whole movie. She's not playing a comedic character.
Yeah. And you need that for a comedy, especially for like this kind where a lot of it's just based on like, isn't this guy crazy?
Yeah.
Type joke. You definitely need the grounding of it. I like her character, I think I find her charming in this. There are good moments of like her not putting up with the bullshit instead of just being nice, but also like you're like, yeah, she's a good person.
Yeah.
And all that. And I thought those were more funny than others. Because I like so I like the whole premise with the memory thing. which there's two things there. There's a couple things there. One of which being memory, that kind of like amnesia doesn't happen from like car accidents or like concussions or anything.
That's like birth issue.
No, it's birth, it's epilepsy, it's neuro disease. Now you can go into epilepsy or seizure after experiencing extreme trauma, right? Like extreme physical trauma.
Right.
But it's that causes it. It's not just she got into a car accident now. Hit the coconut on the noggin, can't remember.
You're right.
Or pineapple thing. Having said that, I mean, there's cases of this kind of short-term memory loss. Actually, the joke of 15-second Tom, right?
10-second Tom.
10-second Tom is closer to like some real cases where it's like a minute.
Yeah.
But like it's like in a short span.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm definitely no medical expert, but I was just reading up on some stuff beforehand. But yeah, they're having cases. There was I wish I could find that article. I didn't get a chance to since yesterday. Which is there's someone who has a very similar condition, and a lot of her, in order for her to live on her own, she has all these Post-its everywhere.
Oh wow!
Just ready to be like, okay, in case she goes over here, this is what I'm gonna do.
Right.
And all this stuff, and have a system that's really similar to the Notebook. Actually, the part where Lucy says, I prefer the Notebook because it's like me telling me this.
Yeah.
Is a lot more real. And like I like that moment as well.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about the memory loss kind of mechanic, because I will say that the thing that ultimately gives us resolution at the end, like there's some seed of her love for Henry Roth.
Yeah.
In there, like they seed that with the idea that Lucy only sings Beach Boys on days that she sees him, and they tell that to him. And then the idea of the Beach Boys being some kind of through line, and then the artwork of him, like all that. All of that felt earned and plausible. Like, oh, I don't know who this is, but maybe there's a vague impression of even just like a feeling like, oh, there's something that is not that all felt very organic and real and helped me buy into I think the conceit of the movie of like, their love transcends the head injury, basically. But the movie does play with your expectations of how it's going to express their love transcends the head injury, like at least 2 times that I can think of, where it's like, oh no, this horrifying. There's just a man here. That is scary. Like, yeah.
It's very scary. And he just shows up one day.
Yeah. And he's like, no, you love me. You don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's going to go into a question I'm going to ask.
Sure.
After we talk to Climax and the following action, which I'm going to ask at every romantic comedy episode we do, which is, do we buy it? Do we buy these two people are in love?
I do.
And I think I do. And we'll get into that. We'll work some more, but I want to talk about like Drew Barrymore's like condition, Lucy's condition in this a little bit more. I really like the scene with you're finding out what her day's like, and how the brother and the dad, with the work they put in every day,
rewrapping, making sure the soap dispenser is the same amount, and all this. Beautiful detail. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's actually, it adds so much to their characters, like just how much. Oh yeah, no, they're good people. They care about Lucy a lot.
Very much. Yeah.
And they are doing this. The dad. Oh my god, I forget the actor's name.
That's Blake Clark.
Blake Clark, dude, I believe him so much that he's like in pain, and like, I think he gives the most. Him and Drew Barrymore give like the most believable performances here.
Yes,
next to maybe the restaurant owner. because she does a face at some point to Adam Sandler, and I'm like, oh, dude, I've seen that fucking face. I like that. That is some urine deep shit. Like,
that's Amy M. Hill, a actual Hawaiian actress who played the shop owner.
Yeah, and we should mention some of the Adam Sandler tropes here. We're not doing an Adam Sandler year, but there are tropes to Adam Sandler movies.
Many.
Which is yes, he is shooting at different locations, usually Hawaii or like a beautiful tropical paradise.
Mm-hmm.
To have a vacation while filming.
Yes.
And then the movies make money because they're comedies. They're always going to make like a little bit more money.
And he can write off, as you mentioned before, like I do think that Adam Sandler kind of does go out of his way, it seems, based on at least what he's presenting, that like he works with the same troupe of on screen and behind the stage people. I think a lot of these people do genuinely treat them like retreats. Like, they bring their wife, their kids. Everybody goes to, Kenya for a weekend to see Drew Barrymore act. Yeah.
And this is all shot on location. By the way, that's one thing me and Nick were talking about with this movie. This movie had so much fucking money.
I really did like the B-roll shots of this movie were gorgeous. Some of the establishment, it was really pretty to look at.
Yeah, shot really well.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, there's talking background actors. There's speaking roles for them, even if they're one-liners. They're shooting all on location, but I can also see how like they kind of save money because once you get into it, it's the same actors for a little bit. So I looked it up, and the budget for this movie was $75 million.
Holy crap! Okay,
wow. Which is crazy. Okay. It's crazy. It's crazy for a romantic comedy. And box office, it made $198.5 million. More than doubled, almost tripled its budget.
One other detail I want to throw out while you're talking stats on this movie, it's a which is
it's a what you kind of roboted out.
Oh, it's a 90-minute picture.
Yeah, it's 95, 99. Yeah,
it's like when did we last see a movie this long before? Like nobody makes 90-minute movies anymore.
No.
I appreciate it.
Not even since Fast and Furious 1. And all the soundtrack, there's so much fucking licensed music. It's that Sony money in there. That is something people mentioned to me while about this movie, is that they love the soundtrack when it came out, and I can see why. There's good stuff on here, and this is back when a lot more people were listening to the movie soundtracks.
Yeah, you would
like a mixed playlist.
Go to Fry's, you would buy an album.
Yeah.
You would, it was what was done then, guys.
What was the one by us? It wasn't Fry's. It was the one at the mall. You know what I'm talking about.
I was trying to think of that one's name too. They did exchanges, CD exchanges.
Banquet.
What is it, Nick?
Electronic Banquet?
No, not EB. No, Nick, the music and DVD store.
Oh, it was like a dude's name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Something. First name, last name. Yeah.
It wasn't like For Your Entertainment, or
maybe. That sounds familiar. Okay, whatever.
Anyway,
but that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
All right, but anyway, back to the memory loss thing and how the rules kind of work. She resets at midnight.
Yes.
And she thinks the same day. The father even prints like a bunch of newspapers, is proven. I like that line delivery where Adam Sandler asks him like, so what if like, what happens when she doesn't or she wakes up, she's 10 years older.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I worry about that every day. Like, no shit. We obviously know it's not sustainable, but we don't know what to do. This is all new shit. This is all new territory. So there's a part of this movie that I really like, which is kind of the support system they give for Lucy.
Yeah.
Especially with these kind of like ailments.
Yeah.
That's like super important in real life to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I actually like one thing, it makes the relationship feel stronger and more real, but like when Adam Sandler brings her that video and you watch it for the first time, and just the
It
difference
looks like
of
a horror film.
the
It looks like an internet horror. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
the moment where Lucy's dad says, "That's the first time you've heard this," and that exchange and how meaningful I
Yeah.
at least I interpreted that moment, that and giving like the family actually having hope for, okay, there is a version where Lucy can make a future and be a
Mhm.
part of that, future, whatever it is. Like it felt very real for people who do have to work around, cognitive limitations or things like that. Just from my own, you know, work in that field. Like that was awesome. That was great.
Mhm. No, yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. Like the people, well, yeah, the support system is really great.
Yeah.
How do we feel about the solution, which is what we're getting into the ending? Or hang
Oh,
on, is there any other bits about the middle that you guys want to talk about?
uh, the only other thing I wanted to say is a joke that absolutely worked for me, and
Yeah,
I after laughing said that's a classic Adam Sandler construction. Is Hey Lucy, it's good to see you again. Shot of Drew Barrymore looking kind of horrified.
yeah.
Uh, and then cut back to, what the hell is her problem? She can't remember anything, you idiot. All right. I'm terrible at my job. Excellent, well delivered. The classic Adam. That felt very Adam Sandler esque. Anyway, that's all. I like
I
that joke.
think I think the best joke for me was the just being on the boat and
Mhm.
at the end of the dad gives him the Beach Boy CD
Yeah.
and he's like, "You
Yeah.
fucking asshole," and then starts playing, and then it's the hard cut to him crying while it's playing. Singing, I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's really good,
Yeah.
actually. I think that's a really good thought out joke,
Yep.
and the fact that it has like meaning, right, and progresses.
Mm-hmm. It's not
I
just a
don't know
bit.
why the dad. Well, no, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's not just a bit. It's character committed reality. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and it moves the plot forward.
Yeah.
Well, I was just about to say I don't know why the dad just wouldn't fucking tell him, but I guess it was like, well, Adam's about to leave, or Henry in this movie
Yeah.
is about to leave, is finally following his dream, right?
Right.
He's reached
Yeah.
it, so he can only drop hints. Or he wants him to help out Lucy because it's his daughter, but it's also at the same time you're like ripping him away from his goal.
And at that point in the movie, like Blake Clark has built like a relationship, like a fatherly relationship with this new boyfriend character in
Hmm.
in his daughter's life. So that feels realistic to me too.
Yeah.
That feels yeah. Yeah.
Okay. 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 So now, if there's no other parts about the middle, we gotta talk about the ending. How do we feel about the solution?
Nicholas, how
Fucking
do you feel
banger.
about it? What?
Fucking banger, bro.
Oh.
Fucking banger.
She ain't got nowhere to go because the implication.
You have no choice
Because the implication.
because the
I'm
implication.
so glad you said that. I'm so glad you said that. I immediately thought of that this watch through too. I was like,
Yeah,
because of the implication. Sure.
I'm okay. Okay, because I'm thinking about that article, that cracked article, about like how horrifying it is every day you're waking up and it's that day, and you're
Mhm.
not. It's not exactly you're a new person, but you're in a different mood, right?
Yeah.
And how that
Yeah.
affects things, I think, is much more different. But I think I can buy into the idea because they establish in this movie so much how it's like, yeah, it is. Like I'm glad they really fucking commit to. There's no real lasting impression except like in the subconscious,
Yeah.
where it's like you can't really do anything about it. It's an imprint for sure, but like, nope,
What?
this is the rule, and this is what's
Right.
happening
Yeah.
every day, and there you can't, and it's not going to change really.
Hmm. No.
It's only like it's sort of like a video game on your new life, or you're doing a new run, and it's like you have to figure out the fastest way to get this person as much info as possible.
Right.
To get a thing.
And I don't know, the solution, here's what makes me feel a little bit less hesitant about the solution, because I do think the movie goes out of its way to say that Henry is not foisting anything on Lucy.
No.
That is like, I know Lucy agreed to go on that boat. I know that Lucy agreed to, like, I'm thinking about the scene where they have their 26th date at the aquarium or something like that. And it's him basically asking to have sex, but explaining that they've actually gone on many, many, many dates where they've taken it very slow. And not only is that supposed to like tell the audience, hey, Henry's actually becoming a gentleman who's considering Drew Barrymore's feelings, but it's also signaling, I hope, I interpreted it as like, oh, okay, well, asking her to get married, asking her to have kids, all of this would be something that they would go over maybe twice as long as every other couple, just to be really like he's not springing kids on Drew Barrymore. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it doesn't feel like the allowance of like a longer time doesn't make it feel like, oh, and just that particular day she was particularly like just frisky or something. Like but like every other day she's not attracted to Henry.
Exactly.
Yeah. It wasn't impulsive.
Yes,
right? It's something she actually desires.
And it was something that she does have to a certain degree trust Henry about, but
yeah.
There is a degree of
so that's where we get into my question of morality here.
Okay.
Is it moral to have long-term plans with her?
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I like this question. This is a hot question.
Yeah. I literally, like, as we were talking, that just hit my head. Is it moral to have long-term plans? Because in my head, I want to say no, right? It's not moral. But on the other hand, shit's going to change, man. Time is going to happen. She's going to get old. Yeah. Which is why they established the question. Everyone around her is going to get old. What if one day she wakes up, the dad's gone?
Yeah. Yeah. And she's got to lose her. I mean, she's got to lose people every time. Every time. Yeah. Any hot takes, Nick, while I'm thinking about this?
What do you think, Nick? Is it moral to have long-term plans with a person who forgets everything at midnight?
Yeah, I think that was kind of the whole intent with the initial, being institutionalized is like
pretty
much that they have to prepare for that she's just gonna have to have people, just go away from her life for every reason in the world. And like I think like it's tough because this is like the point where I kind of made the joke of, oh, it's like Adam Sandler's Norwegian Wood, but
yeah
but I feel like what I kind of dug about Norwegian Wood's take is like it just accepts the fact that you can still love people, but you don't have to be in their life.
Yeah.
And I kind of dug that at least Norwegian Wood kind of does the practical thing of, well, yeah, like, because you have your own life to live, and then all you're doing is going to be delaying the inevitable outcome of their suffering. Like, this is gonna, because that's all it is. Like, it's just you in that moment trying to find your emotional satisfaction for something that is beyond your own capabilities of helping. Like, the institutions are there because this is beyond like your friends and family's help.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're right. And then there is that moment with Lucy where she even's like, yeah, this is not going to be well. You need to go end your you need to not end. You need to go keep living your life because there's nothing for you here.
Yeah.
It's just stagnation. You got to redo it every single day.
Wow, actually,
Yeah.
I'm just now thinking about that's interesting because the movie is almost having it both ways. I'm thinking
I was
about
about to say this is Adam Sandler getting it. Well, this is Henry getting his cake and eating it too.
because it's the suggestion of he can have the passion of a stranger every single day.
Yeah.
In this woman while building a relationship with her, and but like Adam Sandler actually does grow as a person. Like he does change.
Mhm.
But it is possibly at the expense of. Is it at her expense?
Mm-hmm. It's so
Arguable.
weird. It's this movie could be so much darker in its presentation if it wanted to be, but it's all gussied up in like this Adam Sandler 2000s Adam Sandler veneer, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking like the child, like mom keeps forgetting her. So what?
Yeah, man. What if that kid becomes like a shit? You know, like an angsty teenager kid is just trying to fuck with his mom.
Oh,
or
Jesus.
fuck with her mom.
Adam Sandler's gonna have to figure out how to control his finances. If his children can trick mom, good God.
The finances, you just gotta hope the kids are good people, or like try to train them to be. Also, those 180 days of pregnancy,
brutal,
must have been crazy. Yeah, must have been horrifying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But okay, so again, the question is it moral, right? Like, is it on the outside? I think this is as close as you can get, for sure. Because no matter what, this is a bitter situation.
Yeah,
like the more you think about it.
So the prognosis is definitely she will not regain short-term memory. She's never going to really get back that functionality.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, whether or not she goes on the boat or whether she stays at home, the same ultimate tragedy is going to befall. It's just, is it better served that she stays in an institution or she has this kind of bohemian lifestyle where she gets a catch-up video every morning?
And I think, just from this short discussion right now, my opinion could change if I think about it some more, probably. I think this is as moral as you can get with it, because the big problem of it being, things are going to change in like a year, in like 2 years, in like 3 years. It's gonna you're gonna have to deal with it at some point.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Go ahead.
No, so I think it's one of the most impressive bits about this movie is that I do actually think, having watched and really thought about it, this is as good as it can maybe get. It's not a perfect solution for sure.
Right.
Even though the movie presents it as it's working.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, I think, so far as close as you can be to figuring out the long-term problem.
Yeah. And I don't know. I kept trying to think of some comparable, a philosophic comparison of, living in medical care or living in a more comfortable domestic situation.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I couldn't come up with a really clean one, but no,
the only other one is institutionalization.
Yeah. I can get the choice of, I mean, definitely here's the thing. If you have to take the movie on its merits, I would say, as it presents it, and as it presents it, Adam Sandler is going to take better care of that woman than anybody in the world.
Yeah, as the movie presents it, right? Because you get moments of with the brother, right? Messing with Lucy a little bit before the dad throws the shoe at him.
That's true. Getting her to do the dish. Yes. I do remember this. Yes.
And just I like how quick the dad gets angry and throws the shoe. I'm like, yeah, dude, what the fuck are you doing? What are you Because it's that. Because you also have to remember the support system is filled with humans
who get tired,
who get tired.
Yeah.
There are going to be bad days. I mean, but I get, that's just life too, right? Like,
this
it's
is
not gonna
like
be perfect.
siblings, man. Like I, we both have done work with kids. Like, who doesn't know? Like, oh, if I turn the show on, my sister will leave the room. Like, that's siblings to some degree,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, it's predicated on, like, I guess, how much do you believe they're in love? And I do. I think I do. That's way too much work.
I believe it. Yeah.
That's way too much work to say you're not you're not in love or you deeply care about the person.
I would say that, like, based on especially how we're introduced to Harvey in this movie as
Henry, yeah.
Henry in this movie as like a ladies' man, like, he is actively choosing basically the path of most resistance by the end of this film. He is the most committed, and he will have to be the most active kind of husband that I've ever seen in a movie from the early 2000s. Like, yeah.
It's so weird because when he's with Drew Barrymore, he really is like this different person. Yeah. To the point where, like, outside of it, I'm like, I don't believe it. Right? Like that he's so shitty. It's kind of a lot of that outside stuff is people telling you he's shitty, except for maybe like the way he treats his coworker.
Yes.
And that one woman he meets at the bar.
Oh yeah, Midway, the famous. I can't think of who that was, but yeah.
Okay. So anything else about this movie before we start? Like, what we got out of it?
Sure.
Because I think we're slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of tough because, like, especially for, I think there's more to talk about. There's more to talk about the implication than the actual movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
more about
which I think a good movie can do that too. But like, well, we got to talk about. So I think the romance part of this movie is solid.
I think so.
It's a very believable courting. Yeah, yes. I believe it.
I like the premise. I like that they establish the love is itself from a really good place.
Yeah.
And it feels earned. It feels that progress feels earned. It feels a lot of work within the short span. How do we feel about the comedy portion of this movie?
Mostly misses.
Yeah,
I think Nick said it's mostly misses, but
it's hard to talk about comedy because it's more like we would have to talk about each joke and then break down why it didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, the general gist is your classic old-timey punching down jokes that you see in the old ways, and some of them are just like,
that person's maybe different. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
He wants to jerk off to his friend, and he's saying it in front of a room full of 8-year-olds. It's wild, guys.
That's wild. Yeah, that's why I'm like, get rid of the children. I think that joke could work.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's decent jokes that work to the construction of the one that I mentioned before of people having a droll exchange, noting the absurdity of a situation. That's kind of what works, but there's also like a lot of sad stuff about Sean. We didn't really touch on Sean Astin's character because he is such a cringy, wild character in this movie to me.
Sean, is that the brother?
That's the brother with
to the point where I'm like, I don't even know what the joke is. He works out too much. Like,
I don't know if the joke is that he's ambiguously gay or doesn't get how gay he's coming off, or that he sometimes in scenes he's also like kind of like acting like a teenager despite clearly being an adult man also.
Yeah, that bit I can like stick with, right? The man child who's still stuck in high school.
Right.
Because there are lines with that, and I'm like, okay, well, that can be a more comedy mind.
Right.
If it's just like he works out, therefore, gay.
Right.
It's like, well, that's just crazy. Like that's
well, because they pair him up with the unusually masculine, gross German character, and that was the other thing. Like
Yeah.
and this is listeners, I wholeheartedly admit to a double standard. Is I have laughed at people calling Steve Buscemi funny looking in several movies.
Yeah.
But I felt kind of funny about this movie of people pointing at the German lady and being like, "You're gross. You're so weird."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. And like, yeah, that just being weird. Also, there's that moment of him like fighting Adam Sandler, and just Adam Sandler immediately takes him down.
Yes.
And you read that and you go, well, that's just obviously so Adam Sandler doesn't look weak.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's not a real, and that's like, well, this is, what are we doing, man? You got to boost your ego too for this shit. Like,
it's yeah.
There's so much that doesn't work. It's almost like it's weird. I think the serious moments are like better, and like the writing of that. Again, I still think the best joke is that boat hard cut with the Beach Boys.
Very funny.
Because I think it's earned. Yeah, their movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the comedy is definitely weaker in this than the romance. The romance is actually. Oh well, we established the road sign stuff is really good.
The roadside stuff is some of my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah,
it's very
Like I said, legit the side of him being tied up in the back of the truck because it's so elaborate is really funny.
Very funny. Yes.
And then the penguin thing is like legit got me.
It's a cute bit. Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
It's a cute little guy. Little penguin.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What do we get out of it? What'd you all get out of it? Falling action. Nick, what'd you get out of it?
I got out of it the implications of it all. And
the implication.
I mean, I definitely got out of it another interesting take on sort of being in a relationship with someone with a condition like this.
Yeah.
Definitely I will say, like, it's crazy watching 20 years later since it came out.
Yeah, it's weird.
And even though a lot of it doesn't stick comedy-wise, the fact that some of it sticks, I think, kind of shows the the eventual growth. I think Sandler and sort of his comedic stuff goes, or like his acting got like way better since then.
It's so weird. Adam Sandler's one of those, like, I'm gonna make a wild app comparison to what you said, Nick. He's sort of like Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
in that he has some of the best performances and just and then just other complete garbage.
You never really know.
You don't know what you're gonna get. Are you getting Uncut Gems, or are you getting that one spy murder mystery he did for Netflix?
Or what was the other one he did that was pretty good? The dramedy,
Punch Drunk Love.
Punch Drunk Love.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Is it really just a director? That's the difference, maybe.
Maybe.
Because this is Peter Segal or Siegel, right?
And he's like a long-standing director of comedies, I think.
Yeah,
right?
he directed Naked Gun, 33 1/3.
Wow.
Tommy Boy, My Fellow Americans. Nutty Professor too. Okay, well then. Oh, he did Anger Management. Oh, this is probably where he met Adam Sandler, because then 51st Dates comes after, and then he does Longest Yard the next year. Get Smart. Yeah, what's up?
Get Smart is actually, I liked that one. I thought that was.
I remember liking it. I don't know if it still holds up, but I remember liking it.
No say, but yeah.
I don't know. Grudge Match.
Not from. Oh,
My Spy.
My Spy.
Okay. So Grudge Match is De Niro versus Stallone.
Okay.
Very comedy, which is weird. And then he wouldn't direct a movie for 7 years, and he would come back from My Spy, the Dave Bautista, with a child actor comedy.
Oh, okay. All right.
So make of that what you will.
There you are, ladies and gentlemen.
of that
report.
Whatever filmography. All right, Ian, what'd you get out of it? Oh, Nick, sorry, were you done?
Yeah, no, I'm done.
All right, cool.
Out of this one, I will say, like, the parts that work, I get why people say that someone might say this is my favorite rom-com.
Yeah, the parts that work, I think, really work.
The scene where Drew
Just
Barrymore
everything else doesn't.
burns all that crap in the rain, and then they have one last first kiss.
Yeah.
That scene works, dude.
Yeah, it works really well. It's very heartbreaking.
It's a heartbreaking scene. It's a beautiful and I mean, just like aesthetically, the framing, the shot, Drew, they all look top notch. It's beautifully done.
Yeah.
It's how you want a solemn romantic kiss in the rain to look.
Yeah.
I will give it its flowers that it surprised me with the number of times that Adam Sandler, I think what works for him, and I haven't seen a lot of Adam Sandler movies in a while, is he does play the vulnerability of a childlike character really well.
Yeah,
so
he's got that going.
You occasionally get kind of caught off guard by he's in the midst of saying something asinine and idiotic, and then he says something vulnerable, and you're just like, oh, okay, all right,
yeah,
all right,
yeah, you got me.
Adam.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. Like, I haven't thought about that, but I think that is his strength.
Yeah.
If he's gone with that.
But I think we picked over pretty well, like the bits that honestly don't work. I don't know if I can say that this is I want to say this is a it's not a bad movie.
It's not bad.
It's not in total a bad movie. It's certainly a movie that I would give warning to, but maybe I would recommend people to watch. Like, there's stuff in here that's...
Yeah, I would have to know the person.
Yeah.
I will just have to tell people, I'm like, I don't think most of the movie's funny.
And you really just have to push through the Rob Schneider of it. And that's what I tell a lot of people. I've told a lot of people that.
It's just, he's a waste of screen time.
He's really just a real charisma hole.
Okay.
All right. So as what I got out of it, for me, it's if with someone who has that like kind of condition and it's so dire and like just existentially horrifying, it's incredibly important that people like be around them and are very loving and caring and willing to go the extra mile for them.
Yeah.
All that like the fact that the restaurant does that too is like crazy. That's awesome. That's a community coming together, like type thing.
Yeah.
If I had to look on a bright side of this movie. Other than that, I don't think the comedy aged very well, if at all, because some of it just comes out like not even that, because it is like transphobic and homophobic in those senses. But I just quite honestly think a lot of that shit's lazy. It doesn't fucking work, and should have been like really kind of rewritten and thought out more.
The line where he turns down his assistant's sexual advances with "I'm not into dudes" is such a flat. It's not delivered great. It doesn't work. Yeah, there's a lot of those moments that are just like bedpan, like not
working, not doing that. And then there's jokes where you're like, yeah, that was thought out. The Beach Boys one is thought out. The running into the hall because it's used 2 or 3 times is really good.
Yes.
10-minute or 10-second Tom, I think actually legit works without making fun of him.
Yeah, I agree.
And the joke of him wetting his bed is not at like the brother's sexuality or like anything. It's of just like, yeah, dude, that is weird.
You're so immature that you're still
doing wet dreams. Yeah. No, there are bits, and that's the thing. There are bits that work, and you're like, oh well, you should have worked on the jokes like that level, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we have to let's just answer the question one more time for posterity's sake and for hoping to establish
a trend.
Yeah, trend. Good. Thank you, Ian. Do we believe in the romance? Yay or nay? Between Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah,
Do we buy it?
110.
Yeah,
I buy it.
I agree on that. Yeah,
I think so too.
Yeah.
Second question.
Yeah.
Is this more romantic or is this more comedy? Or do you really think it's 50-50?
Ooh.
I'd say more romance.
I actually think it's more romance, but that might be because a lot of the jokes don't even work or register for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder.
That may be.
I mean, it's an interesting question because then we're like, what do we prioritize?
Yeah.
Watching.
No, this is more of a dumb, like a romantic comedy should be 50-50, where it's more like, well, is it more romantic?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
It's more this question's more fun.
This one, I'd say it's
I think the previous question I asked is way more important for romantic
it's like
comedy.
80% rom and like 20% com.
Yeah. See, I would argue that if it like for the comedy that worked. For the comedy, I think that's like I think it's there, or I think that was supposed to be a joke. I think it's closer to 50-50 with more romance, maybe 60-40, but
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is the first movie, so we're not going to rank them just yet, but I am going to write this down. Right. So, by default, 50 First Dates is our best movie, best romantic comedy of 2025.
Hear that, Mom? It's number 1 now. Yep. There you go.
All right. Please stay tuned on socials for you will find it from me at Shirley Chris about what the next episodes are going to be. Make sure to click that like and subscribe button. Click the like button below, and just tell your friends and all that shit. Whatever you do, you're an adult. I hope you should be if you're listening to this.
Okay, bye.
Bye, baby.
Just keep doing, the romantic comedy bit. All right. Anything else?
I'm so lonely. Good night, everyone.
No, there you go. Hey. Bye. Bye.
Bye.